Empress of Lycania. Previous episodes are available on the playlist. You can also visit our website for your favorite stories. A link is provided in the video description. Episode 7. Azalea. She is gone. And I watch in horror as Ganon steals her from me, clutching her to his chest. I feel dead. Like I took my last breath when she did, like all life has left me. She died for me, and I feel completely and utterly numb until I hear his voice slice through the air as it mocks me. But it is his slow, methodical clap that makes me see red as I lift my head to see I am circled by the Lycania and Valkyrie guards, shielding me instead of fighting. My eyes scan the destruction to find Kyson getting to his feet not far from me. The sight of my mate makes my heart beat faster when Crux's voice brings me back to my surroundings. Crux took Abby from me. He won't take my mate too. I have waited for this day since I learned of your birth, Crux laughs. My blood boils and sizzles, my skin warming with rage. The almighty Lycanias finally fall. The Lycania kingdom should have been mine. He promised it to me. I took down my own mother's kingdom for it, he yells as everyone halts under his voice. The hunters' guns trained on us. They know we are cornered and there is no way out for us. That name everyone is obsessed with. The Lycania name means nothing to me. I know the sins that name carries. The heartache bestowed upon the kingdoms from it, and the reign of terror it has caused. Right now, I can feel the blood of that name burn through me along with my mother's, feel it in my toes as they tingle along with my rage. Yet, I am not just Lycania. My father's name brings nothing but shame to me. I no longer want it. Crux can have it. That name has taken more from me than anything else. Yet as I watch Ganon clutch my sister's dead body in his arms and Liam tries to pry Abby free of him, it angers me more. Ganon fights him, trying to draw her nearer, when Liam punches him and knocks him back, his hands replacing Ganon's as he brings his hand down on her chest, pumping her heart as if he can save her and bring her back to us. Turning my head and seeing my mate on his knees makes pure, white-hot rage sliver through me. The ground vibrates beneath me, and I can feel its energy, breathing life into me like it is part of me. Your father lied to me, then took Tatiana as his queen. His enemy. He took her as his queen and birthed her spawn. It was never yours, Azalea. Your father promised it to me. The Lycania name was to be mine. Crux roars in anger. You can have the name. I scream in anger as I rise to my feet. My guard tenses and takes protective stances, encircling me, but I want to see the face of the man who thinks he will be our downfall. I want to witness the life drain from his eyes when I take it from him. Stand down. I scream at my guard when I see them move to protect me. My command rings out loud, my people drop to their knees, and Crux laughs, clapping his hands slowly as he strolls closer. Kyson's fear bleeds into me, and I can feel his eyes on me, his heart beating in his chest in sync with mine as I stare down Crux, who smiles sadistically. Lycanias used to be gods. The Lycanias were feared among the Lycania kingdoms, and your father brought shame to the name. But not anymore. His reign ends here, today, with you, just like the Azures. You're all that's left, Crux calls out to me. He is right because I can feel their blood singing in my veins, feel the power that has awoken and now writhes through me, strong like a flexing muscle. He is right. I am Landina and Azure by blood, but that is not all. You're wrong. The Landinas and Azures may be dead, I tell him. Almost, Crux sneers, pointing to me. I laugh, the sound wicked as the ground beneath my feet begins to shake, my aura pressing out, and I feel its strength as it wraps around my people like a shield. But I am not a Landina or Azure, I tell him, and his laugh cuts off to hear what I have to say. I am Valkyrie. Stepping out of the circle my guard has created around me, I glare at Crux as the earth splits and cracks beneath my feet. And you shall not take my kingdom. Kyson power rolls off Azalea in seismic waves, forcing our guard to their knees. Standing defiant against Crux, her eyes blaze with fury, glowing that remarkable azure blue, neon almost as I see her fingers twitch, catch a glimmer of the cerulean blue, the energy of the eclipsarian bleed through her very essence, staining her. I can feel it running through the bond, healing me, healing her guard. She shivers, the shudder physical, as power zaps up her spine, and she straightens with a wicked laugh. But I am not a Landina or Azure. Azalea steps out of the protective circle of our guard, and my heart sputters as she exposes herself further. I am Valkyrie, she roars, and the pure anger behind those words cracks the earth. And you shall not take my kingdom. Her roar slices through the tense air, an eruption of volcanic anger that scorches the very atmosphere. I can almost taste the fear emanating from the hunters, it's a thick, acrid stench as their weapons discharge in desperation. Bullets streak through the sky, only to halt and clatter harmlessly against an invisible shield she conjures with a mere lift of her hands. Beneath us, the ground heaves and splits, a great chasm severing the battlefield, as if the earth itself sides with her wrath. Vines, thick and unyielding, burst forth, ensnaring the hunters and dragging them screaming into the abyss of the craters she has created. Her rage ignites the sky, fire sweeping across the sky, scorching the earth to a charred wasteland, yet, under her protective aura, we remain unscathed. Crux's complexion pales, a stark contrast to the fury he now faces before him. His attempt at conquest has failed catastrophically, he has not subdued her, he has unleashed her. Tonight, though a kingdom may fall to ashes, from its remnants rises the Empress of Lycania, forged from the fierce flames of her wrath. Darkness descends as she summons the storm clouds, her power manifesting as a storm of raw, primal force. Lightning forks down, carving scars into the earth, while thunder drowns out the cries of those they unleash on. Our castle, once a fortress of stone and legacy, shatters under the onslaught, its ruins deflected by her indomitable shield. The bond between us thrums with her energy, healing and invigorating me. Her arms, raised high, command the winds which howl and whip around us. Her pain, the echo of every loss, every haunting memory she has endured, and every wraith that has ever touched her, fuels a war cry that resounds across the battleground. The power spoken of in the ancient texts, the divine might of the Landinas and Azures unfurls before me. The air itself wails with the torment of her unleashed soul, obliterating all in its devastating path. Trees, stones, and bones are ground to dust, the landscape flattened as if by the wrath of the moon goddess herself. As quickly as it unleashed, her cataclysm subsides. The silence in its wake is so profound, it's as if the world pauses, catching its breath. Her protective shield dissolves, shattering like glass, and the weight of her actions, and her losses, crashing down on her. I rush to her side, catching her as her strength wanes. Our kingdom lies in ruins around us, the forest a mere memory, our enemies nothing but blood and ash fertilizing the soil. Her power, a display of divine wrath and mourning, leaves us standing in her ruin. I clutch her to me, wishing I could take her pain away. Her heartbreak is palpable, a fissure that threatens to consume her. As one dynasty crumbles, but another awakens. I am Valkyrie, she had declared. And so she is. Empress of Lycania. The Valkyrie Empress. Azalea Ganon wails as Liam attempts to revive Abby, bringing me to my knees. My head drops into my hands, covering my face as I sob, collapsing beside them just as Kaisen's arms catch me. How can the moon goddess be so cruel? She grants me the power of the first Lycans, yet she robs me of my sister, leaving no way to mend it. Abby deserves the kindness, loyalty, and love Ganon offers. After all she has endured and survived, it feels like the cruelest slap in the face of betrayal to lose someone so pure. Dustin tries to pull Liam away from her, but Liam shoves him back. Come on, Abby, Liam growls furiously. Dustin and Trey grab him, pulling him off, just as Ganon snatches her and holds her tighter. She's gone. She's gone. There's nothing you can do, Dustin tells Liam, but Liam shakes his head, reaching for her again. No. I've been feeding her my blood, Liam snarls, tossing Dustin aside, and my head lifts at his words. No sooner does the words leave his lips than we hear her gasp. I blink, unable to believe my eyes, while Ganon rocks back and forth, wailing loudly at his lost love. Her eyes open, dazedly obsidian, as her hand rises and clutches Ganon's arm, making him jump as she sucks in a breath and her eyes return to their emerald color, life returning to her deathly pale skin. Abby! I whisper, choking on my sob, as her hand moves to Ganon's hair. Abby! I scream, and Ganon jumps at the feel of her hand in his hair as he lifts his head. Liam sags against Dustin, collapsing between his legs as he breathes heavily. I told you, brother, I wouldn't let you lose her again, Liam breathes heavily, catching his breath. My chest warms as sparks of the bond flood me along with relief, and I lean against my king as Clarice releases Tyson, who crashes against his mother and father, crying and clutching them. Ganon crushes them against him as he holds on. We have survived, yet our home has not, as I look around at what I have done. The destruction I have caused, and the carnage left behind. But we are alive, we are not dead, and that is what matters. The rest we can figure out. More than my life, I breathe out in relief. More than my life, everyone echoes in a chorus, repeating my words. More than my life, Kaisen whispers next to my ear. Kaisen's hand finds mine, his touch is grounding, a reminder that this isn't some nightmare, that I truly destroyed this place. We need to go home, I murmur, the words slicing through the quiet like a knife. To Landina. Home where all this began and where we must return to rebuild our lives. Kaisen nods, his gaze sweeping over the remnants of the castle. First, we salvage what we can here. There's much to be done, he sighs heavily, looking around at our guards, who are already moving about the destruction, ensuring the hunters are dead and those that miraculously survived are taken care of. The task is monumental. We mobilize swiftly, our people rallying despite their grief and shock at everything that has happened. They grieve the people we lost and their homes that are no more. The guards, once poised to protect, start digging through debris, salvaging pieces of our past. Every stone turned, and every item saved, feels like a small victory against the desolation of this place. Clarice organizes a team to sift through the ruins for belongings and relics of the royal archives. These pieces of our history are more than mere objects, they are glimmers of a past that will inspire our future. The children help, too, their small hands picking up less dangerous pieces, their innocence a stark contrast to the surrounding destruction we now stand in. As we work, I can't help but feel the weight of every life affected by this catastrophe. The responsibility of my power becomes a tangible thing, heavy and overwhelming. Yet, as I watch our people come together, there is a budding sense of unity and strength. We are broken, yes, but not defeated. In the midst of our efforts, a young guard approaches, a dusty book in his hands. "Your Majesty," he bows slightly, offering the book to me. It's an old ledger from the castle's library, miraculously unscathed. I flip through the pages, barely recognizing the words that I still struggle to read. "Anything else?" I ask, a small smile tugging at my lips despite the sorrow eating at me. The guard nods, just as I hear Kyson gasp as he pulls out more and more books, the books Cedric gave me and the ones Kyson would read to me. How in the world did these survive? Kyson marvels. By evening, the ground where the castle once stood is cleared of bodies and the most hazardous debris. We set up camp in the cleared area, the night sky open above us. The stars are particularly bright, their light burning brilliantly to the darkness of the past day. Kyson and I stand together, watching our people settle. "We'll rebuild, love." "Everything." "I know, but I took their homes from them," I murmur. "No, you gave them a reason to hope and not to live fearing the hunters. Tomorrow, we will start the journey back to Lycania. We'll rebuild there, where it all began. It's time to bring your people home." "Our people," I tell him as Trey wanders up the hill toward me, a plate of food in his hands. Later that night, as I lie beside Kyson under the vast expanse of the night sky, I feel a mix of dread and excitement. Lycania awaits with its own set of challenges and ghosts. But for now, the quiet whispers of the night promise not just an end but a beginning. A new chapter. As I drift to sleep, the echoes of our past mingle with the dreams of what the future will be. Liam a couple of days later. They say luck comes in threes, and I am beginning to believe that old superstition as I sift through the rubble. Brick after brick, rock after rock, and dust. Well, you get the picture. Anyway, I am knee-deep in shit. Not literal shit, but you know, kind of metaphorical. Nope. I am pretty sure that may have been an actual turd and not a rock that time. I toss it over my shoulder, hearing a grunt before nearly squealing with joy when I find my trusty apron. I clutch it, making sure it is in one piece. It has a small burn hole, but never mind that, it adds character. Oh please, no. Of all the things to survive. That thing should have been the first to burn, Dustin groans behind me. I narrow my eyes at him, what a vile thing to wish for. Does he not know how hard I worked to get it smelling like barbecued death and marinated skin jerky? That is not coming with us, Dustin declares. That's what he thinks. I think I might wear it when we get married one day, I tell him, and he scrunches up his face. You will do no such thing, he snarls, yet I am caught on the fact he didn't deny he is going to marry me. It's a piece of art. See this stain right here? I ask, pointing to it. That is an impression of a face. Peeled it clean off. I think my butterfly impression is rather good, you can even see his bulbous nose, I tell Dustin, and he shakes his head. There is something wrong with you, you know that, right? He says, sifting through the rubble. You just don't know how to appreciate art, I tell him, shaking my head as I toss my apron over my shoulder and move a piece of wall from one of the chimneys. I nearly wet my pants with excitement, maybe I did a little. What can I say? I am old, and I'm allowed to pee a little. The old pipes aren't what they once were. Sometimes, they leak. But what I discover makes me realize that the old superstition is, in fact, true. I knew luck came in threes. I never doubted it for a second, as I stared down at Crux. His mangled body is all crooked, his arm twisted the wrong way. He coughs, and I quickly lift my head, looking around. Dustin has his back to me, which is the best view. Especially bent over something with my. I'm getting off track, you dirty. Anywho, is salvaging what he can, so that means I can sneak off with my gift from the goddess. Peering around, everyone else is too distracted as they search for junk while I've found treasure. Crux coughs, and I quickly slap a hand over his mouth, not wanting to alert the others that somehow, by the grace of the goddess, he was gifted an extra life. And gifted to me. I start digging him out when I open the mind link, looking for Ganon, who is over the far side with Abby and Tyson. He hasn't left her side since she returned to us, though that sire bond I will have to do something about. Like I knew the risk, and all when I was secretly feeding her my blood, but man, I didn't think she would be so clingy. She made Ganon promise not to try to change her again after his failed attempt. However, I made no such promises to her. And I knew Ganon was worried about her attempting suicide again. So I made sure that if she tried again, this time, she would have my blood in my system, so she would change. I may not have made a promise to her, but I did make a promise to my brother to always have his back. I think he scared her when his blood healed her, burned the wolfsbane right out of her system, and he panicked, so he tried to drown her to force the change. It was just sheer luck that it worked. Since she already had her wolf, changing her into a Lycan made it trickier. Sometimes, they will heal too quickly. And it is always the brink of death, along with Lycan blood and venom in their system, that forces the change. Completely dead, they are dead, you need to make sure to keep the heart beating. But it's that dangerous, brinking on death's edge that forces the gene mutation. This is why, when changing someone, we usually need permission from the king. Sometimes, it doesn't go as planned, and intervention is needed, or resuscitation can take a few goes for the gene to kick in. Regardless, by my first stroke of good luck, it well worked. although the sire bond is a piche. Mainly because I don't want the girl looking at me all goo-eyed. No, those eyes are reserved for my brother and my brother only. And my eyes are reserved for my dusty poo. And now the goddess granted me the best prize and a third stroke of luck for my good deeds. PSST, I hiss at Ganon, and I see his head turn looking for me. Why are you whispering? It's a mind link, no one can hear you but me, he says, and I wave my arms in the air so he can find me. He nods and lifts his arms as if to say, what? I wave for him to come to me, but he shakes his head. Get here now. I need you to help me haul the body off. I hiss at him through the mind link. Hey! I want to make a kebab out of him. You know, up the bum. What are you talking about? Ganon snaps at me, and I roll my eyes at his tone. Come here, and I will share him with ye, I tell him. Hey! You know, a head on a stick, a chicken stick or kebab. Quick before anyone notices, and they ruin my fun. I tell him. Crux groans, and I press my foot on his windpipe to shut him up while waving my arms for Ganon to come help me. I swear if you are making me walk over there to show me something stupid or to toss another rock at me, he growls. I wait for him to come to me while chatting animatedly with Dustin, who still hasn't returned to see my treasure. And oh, what precious treasure it is! I am already picturing ways to torture him. I wonder if Dustin would be down over his dead carcass? I shake that thought away, he definitely won't be. Maybe he will let me while I wear his skin as a suit? I ponder that before deciding against it. Skewering him would be enough. Perhaps I can skewer him while Dusty skewers me. I can see Ganon coming toward me, and I jiggle on the spot with excitement. What is it? For real? That smelly old thing survived, but my fireproof safe got destroyed? What the actual? Ganon curses seeing my apron. That is not all that survived, I whisper, nodding for him to look over the rubble at my feet. He peers over before looking around, a smirk on his face. What do you want to do with him? He asks casually. He glances around to make sure no one is looking. This is one thing I love about Ganon, he loves the depraved stuff just as much as I do. That is why this man is my best friend and brother. Plus, there is nothing hotter than watching another man with a knife, elbow deep in innards covered in blood. I have jerked the old gherkin one too many times at the sight of Ganon carving up somebody, although he gets a bit weirded out when I do it in front of him. He understands and gets me because he is just as trapped in the head as me. He gets me in my need for sadistic, wicked torture. There is also no better feeling than watching a grown man shit his pants because he knows he is looking death in the face. Or how their fear smells like burnt hair. The way the light fades from their eyes as they take their last breath. It makes me all tingly and hard just thinking about it. Help me get him to the bunker, I tell him. Hey, Dustin, can you please go sit with Abby and Tyson for me? Ganon calls out. Dustin lifts his head from sifting through all the crap holding a broken cup he found, and he thinks I am sentimental about my apron? What does he want with a broken cup? He can't drink out of it. Half the side is missing. Dustin nods before climbing over the crap to walk to the other side where Abby and Tyson are with the king and queen, taking his broken cup with him. At least my apron is functional. If he's taking that thing with us, my apron is definitely coming. Ganon and I start digging the out, and he groans when Ganon accidentally steps on his busted leg. He's going to scream when we pull him off that rebar, Ganon says as we examine the bar penetrating his gut. I glance around, trying to find something to muffle him, before taking my shoe off and removing my sweaty sock. What pretty lips! Now open up wide. I snarl, and he coughs. Kill me, he rasps out. Not until we get you to the bunker, I tell him, jamming the filthy sock in his mouth and slipping my boot back on. With another glance around, we quickly drag him out. You grab the... I look down, trying to find a way to grab him so that we can get a good grip on him for a quick getaway, but one leg is bent awkwardly. You get the ass, and I will get the head, I tell him. You get. You're the man, not me. Ganon says. Fine. I will get the ass, just hurry up before someone sees us. I tell him, and we struggle for a few seconds. Crux mumbles incoherently in pain before we take off for the old trail behind the garden under the clotheslines. As we reach the forest edge, we see Peter, and we both stop dead in our tracks, caught red-handed with our new plaything. Both of us eye him while I consider whether I will have to julienne his ass. I saw nothing, he says, strolling away and scooping an apple off the ground. Good boy. Quick. I hiss, and we rush for the safety of the trees. Thank you, Almighty Moon Goddess, for this blessing. I think to myself as I laugh. This shall be fun. Coming up one crux kebab. Hopefully, he tastes better than the Doyle steaks. He was a bit chewy, I tell Ganon, and he chuckles. He thinks I am joking, but a chef must always taste his masterpiece. It was just a little nibble, and he tasted like shit. I think I over-marinated him. We get Crux down to the bunker, placing him in a section that is no longer in use due to safety reasons. It is even older than Kaisen's father. We strap down on a stone slab, re-breaking his distorted limbs. His screams are muffled by his gag. I pull out a set of my new tools. I am excited to put them to use, giggling to myself finally. What do you have over there, Liam? Don't think I didn't hear you squeal like a schoolgirl meeting her crush. I spin around with my new toys in hand. Ganon's brow knit together. Not sure what to make of it, I click my tongue in annoyance at his ignorance of my new gems of torture. It's a pair of anguish, you ninny. Since he liked to make his profits trafficking and prostituting children, why not send him out with a bang up his ass? I have one for his mouth, too. It came as a set. I clap my hands anticipating my fun. I strip down, putting my apron on. Just our luck, I find some of the medieval torture devices while securing the tunnels leading to the bunkers. Ganon helps put Crux's knees in the splitter after we cut him free from his clothes while I hum to myself. Crux tries in vain to loosen his restraints. Ganon pops some wolfsbane under his gag before replacing it with the pear, twisting it to fit. Crux! Don't think for a second I have forgotten about your other hole. Promise I'll even spit on it for you, I tell him, giving him a wink. I shove it up his turd cutter, causing his muffled scream to vibrate around the pear occupying his mouth. An hour later, This turd is still trying to hang on to his wretched life. Liam, we need to hurry up. Abby is going to come looking for me soon. Fine, let me get my skewers. His pecker is barely hanging on anyhow. Sausage kebabs, it is then, I huff, rolling my eyes at his party pooping mood. We listen as his heart sputters to a halt, and my face lights up like a kid on Christmas at my handiwork. Though I am upset, I can't play a little longer. Leaving him there, we make our way back to the ruins of the castle. Abby looks over at us and exhales. I have been looking for you, she tells Ganon, quickly moving to his side. For real, that thing survived? She asks, glaring at my apron. What does everyone have against my poor apron? It has done nothing to you, I tell her. She pulls a face at me. It's all right, I will get you one just like it, blood and all, I tell her. I think I will pass, she tells me before staring at me dazedly. She is definitely sired to me. Ganon waves a hand in front of her face, and she shakes her head and snaps out of it. Ganon growls at her, gawking, tugging her closer. I'm gonna have to take care of that, Ganon mind links me, and I nod. Though sires are difficult to break, it requires him feeding her copious amounts of his blood to rid hers of mine or knocking her up, which I say he'll prefer doing to her. That always seems to remove sire bonds for some reason. No one knows why, and I can only guess, but for some reason, it works. Abby doesn't love me, she knows that, not in that sense anyway, and it is the first thing we explained to her when Ganon started to pick up on it a few days ago. Ready to go? Dustin says, coming over to us, and I nod to him. Dustin knows about the strange sire, and he glances at Abby. Not with jealousy, just worry about Ganon. Yet, he needs not worry. Ganon will take care of it, and she will be just fine. Yeah, let's go, I tell him, tossing my arm over Dustin's shoulder, when I hear a voice behind me, making me stop. Abby, are you okay? Ganon asks, and I peer over at them. Her eyes are at the forest edge, though she startles, looking up at Ganon. Sorry, I thought I saw something, Abby says, and I peer around, not seeing anything. Dustin and I walk ahead a little. Saw what? Ganon asks her. Nothing, I am being silly, my mind is playing tricks on me, she laughs nervously. Well, if it's silly, you have no issues telling me then, Ganon quips, and she sighs heavily. Abby? Ganon asks, and this time, Dustin stops, peering back at her. Must it be the sire bond thing? Dustin suggests, but her next words sent my blood cold. It's nothing, it's impossible, and you'll laugh, she says, and Ganon gives her a stern look. I thought I saw, she shakes her head and sucks in a breath. I thought I saw my grandmother, she laughs, rubbing her temples. Ganon tugs her closer. Everything going on, it's normal to see things, he tells her. I know it's impossible, her words turn to background noise as my eyes nervously scan the forest. But that's the thing, it's not impossible. I know because when I went back to bury Vivian's body, she wasn't there. I swallow thickly when Ganon drops his hand on my shoulder. Are you all right, brother? He asks, and I force a smile on my face. Just thinking about our skewered friend, I chuckle, and Dustin peers up at me. What's going on? Dustin asks as we head toward where the camp is set up. Nothing I can't handle, I answer. Damien, my grip on the steering wheel tightens as the gates of Silver Shadow Pack come into view. My jaw is set, determination and apprehension etching across my features. The road trip has been tense, mainly because we are hoping Larkin is right and that Paige is, in fact, alive. In the back seat, Kyson and Azalea talk in hushed tones, their concern palpable in the cramped space of the SUV like a heavy fog. Liam and Dustin are in another vehicle. We didn't tell Tandy where we were going today. I didn't want to get her hopes up, so she and Hunter are with Abby and Gannon. Gannon doesn't want to risk opening old wounds for Abby by bringing her back here, so they continue on the trip to Landina, believing we are just making a pit stop. We're almost there, Kyson announces, his voice steady but laced with a cautious undertone that sends a chill down my spine. Thanks for the reminder, I mutter, trying to push away the knot of anxiety in my stomach. I can't help but wonder what we'll find at the end of this road if we've come all this way just to face more disappointment. But I shake off those thoughts. I have to believe that we'll find answers here, that we'll find Paige. Hey, Damien, Azalea says softly from the back seat, her voice barely audible above the hum of the engine. No matter what happens, Tandy will be okay. I nod my head, praying she is right. As we approach the gates, I take a deep breath, steeling myself for whatever comes next. We've come too far to back down now. And if there's even the slightest chance we can bring Paige home, it's worth coming here, but if she is dead, Brock will meet his maker, too. We through the gates, noticing the guards' eyes studying us, their scrutiny palpable even from behind the windshield. I force a smile and nod in their direction. The car glides forward, bringing the packhouse and the town square into view. Towering pines loom over the property, casting eerie shadows across the dying lawn. Mist curls around the house, making it appear as though it is floating on a cloud. Though I must admit, the place looks a lot better now that Katrina is running the pack. As we pull up to the pack house, my heart hammers in my chest. This is it, the moment of truth. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Let's do this, I murmur, pushing open the car door and stepping out onto the gravel driveway. Kyson follows, and I see Dustin and Liam climb out of their car and lean against it, watching our surroundings. My boots crunch underfoot as I approach the door. Damien, Azalea calls out softly, her voice laced with concern. Call out if you need me. I glance back at her, offering a small smile despite the storm raging inside me. I will, I promise, turning my attention to the front door before us. Ready? Kyson asks. Ready, I confirm, my voice barely above a whisper. I approach the entrance, trying to clear my thoughts. What if Paige isn't here? Or worse, what if she is, but we can't save her? No, I can't afford to think like that. We've come too far to give up now. I lift my hand to knock, but it opens before I have the chance. Damien, comes a sneering voice from within. Alpha Brock stands in the doorway, looking out of it, the smell of alcohol heavy on his breath. To what do I owe the pleasure? I've come to talk about Paige, I answer by shoving into his house. He stumbles as I let myself in. Page. He feigns ignorance, crossing his arms over his chest. Who? Page. Tandy's daughter. I refuse to let him play games with me. I know she's here, Brock. And I want her back. I have no idea who this Tandy is or who Paige is, Brock sneers while Kyson leans against the door frame. He sighs heavily, but I shake my head at him. I don't want him barging in if the girl is here. This alpha may be a piece of shit, but he is Paige's father, and I don't want to scare her unless absolutely necessary. Enough of your lies, Brock. My voice comes out like ice, and I can't help the anger that simmers beneath my skin. Where is Paige? I told you, he says. I have no idea who you're talking about. I've had enough. In one swift motion, I grab his collar and drag him out onto the front porch for everyone to see. My fists fly, connecting with his face again and again as I demand answers. The scent of blood fills my nostrils, but it only fuels my rage as he stumbles down the steps, tripping over his own feet. Where is she? I roar, punctuating each word with a punch. Alpha Brock remains defiant, refusing to give up any information. Damien. I hear Azalea call from the car. She steps out, her aura shimmering brilliantly around her. She's never looked more powerful, and I am honored to have her as my queen. And right now, she looks every bit like the queen she is. Looks like you're trapped now, I laugh as she approaches. I step back, leaving a battered Alpha Brock on the ground. Tell us where Paige is, or suffer the consequences, Azalea warns, her voice steady and confident. Brock glares at her, his pride wounded, but still unwilling to yield. I can feel the tension in the air, thick and suffocating, as the standoff continues. The scent of fear permeates the air as Azalea's command rolls over her old alpha effortlessly. Brock stammers, forced lower to the ground under the pressure of it. Where is Katrina? Azalea asks Alpha Brock, her voice cold and unforgiving. Away picking up supplies, Alpha Dean answers for Brock, coming out to stand on the porch, his eyes darting between his son and Azalea. She nods, acknowledging his answer, but her focus remains on Brock. Now, let's try this again. Where is Paige? She muses, her words laced with a deadly calm. Brock grits his teeth, fighting against her command. His stubbornness only lasts a moment before he pisses himself, the dark stain spreading across his pants. I can't help but smirk at his humiliation. Azalea laughs, the sound chilling and filled with power. I'm not even using my full command yet, that's just a taste. Did you know the Landina command can kill? How about I start with your father? As if on cue, Alpha Dean drops to his knees, gasping and clutching his chest. He looks up at Azalea, pleading for mercy, but she remains unmoved. Where is Paige? She asks again, her voice unwavering. Brock grits his teeth, and Azalea sighs heavily before Alpha Dean starts wailing and thrashing on the ground. Just tell her, Brock. Alpha Dean screams. All right. Brock panics, his voice cracking under the pressure. She's next door with my mother. Thank you, Azalea replies, releasing her grip on both alphas. She turns to me, a victorious glint in her eyes. Let's go find Paige. With renewed hope, we make our way next door only to find Alpha Dean's wife, who instantly rushes out to run to her husband. As we enter and climb the stairs, I can't help but think about the power Azalea wields and how it changes everything. I wonder what it would be like to have such a gift, but then I remember the responsibility that comes with it. We approach a door with the name page written in block letters, the door covered in butterflies. The sunlit room feels like a world apart from the tense confrontation that had just unfolded. My heart races as I step inside, the floorboards creaking beneath my feet, and the little girl startles, rushing to hide under her bed. "Hello," I say softly, trying not to startle the little girl with curly brown hair who scrambles beneath her pink frilly bed. At least, she seems to be looked after. Her big blue eyes flicker up to meet mine as I crouch next to the bed and lift the blanket, curiosity and wariness swimming in their depths. "I won't hurt you," I tell her. "Who are you?" she replies hesitantly, clutching a block to her chest as if it could protect her from any harm. "May I sit down?" I ask gently, gesturing towards the wooden floor beside her. She nods, and I lower myself down, maintaining a safe distance between us. "I'm Damien," I introduce myself. "Paige," she whispers, her voice barely audible. "Nice to meet you, Paige." I try to keep the conversation light, hoping to ease her worries. "You have a nice room here." "Thank you," she says, her grip on the block relaxing slightly. I reach into my jacket, pulling out a photograph of Tandy. "Do you know who this is?" I ask gently, showing her the picture. Her eyes widen, and she nods. "Mommy," she breathes out, her expression a mixture of hope and disbelief. She scrambles out from under the bed and rushes to her nightstand. Seemingly forgetting the stranger in the room, she comes over, holding out a picture. I take it, and she snatches the photo I have from between my fingers. "She looks different," Paige murmurs. "Your mommy misses you very much," I tell her, my heart aching for the pain I know her mother has endured. "Would you like to go see her?" Paige's eyes dart to mine, and she seems unsure. "Really?" Paige asks, her voice trembling slightly. "Really," I confirm, offering her a reassuring smile. "We'll take you to her, I promise." "What about my dad?" she asks, and that's when Azalea speaks from behind me. "Your father did a terrible thing, taking you from her. Will he go to prison?" "Grammy said I couldn't leave the house because if I am seen, people would take me away, and he would go to prison," she asks, and Azalea smiles sadly. "He did a bad thing, but I know your mother misses you," Azalea tells her, and the little girl looks down at the photo in her hands and nods her head slowly. "And you'll take me to see my mommy?" she asks, and Azalea nods. "Yes." The little girl looks at me. "First, let's gather your things, sweetheart." I stand up and extend my hand for her to take. As she hesitates for a moment, I offer her a gentle smile and a nod, encouraging her to trust me. Slowly, her tiny hand slides into mine, her grip surprisingly firm for such a small girl. "You're right here?" Azalea asks me, and I nod to her, letting her know she can go back to her mate. Together, Paige and I walk around the room, collecting her worn toys and threadbare clothes. Now and then, I catch her stealing glances at me, as if assessing whether I can be trusted. Damien, she asks quietly, her voice barely audible. Yes, Paige. I reply softly, kneeling to her level once more. Will Mommy be happy to see me? There's a vulnerable tremor to her words that breaks my heart. Of course she will be, sweetie, I say. She's missed you every single day since you've been gone. Promise. She bites her lip, the weight of her longing evident in her expression, making me wonder if they ever let her outside at all. She is quite pale. Promise. Okay, Paige says, a small but genuine smile finally gracing her lips. Let's go see Mommy. Let's go. I squeeze her hand reassuringly, and together, we leave the room behind, ready to face. As we reach the car, I can see Kyson and Azalea waiting for us, their smiles warm and welcoming. Hey there, little one, Kyson says as he leans against the side of the car. You must be Paige. Paige nods shyly, gripping my hand just a little tighter. I lift her into my arms, feeling her small frame trembling with a mix of excitement and fear. Everything will be all right, Paige, Azalea reassures, her voice soft and comforting. You're safe now. Let's get going, then, Kyson suggests, opening the car door for me. As I settle Paige into the back seat, I fasten her seatbelt. Climbing into the driver's seat, my eyes lingering on the little girl for a moment before I turn my attention to the road. Your mom's going to be so happy to see you, I tell her, my voice gentle. I can't wait to see the look on Tandy's face when she realizes her daughter is alive, and I have brought her home. Hey, Paige, want to play a game while we wait? Azalea suggests, breaking through my thoughts. Okay, Paige agrees hesitantly, her grip on the armrest relaxing a bit as she turns her attention to Azalea. Let's play I Spy, Azalea says with a smile. I'll go first. I spy something green. Is it the trees? Paige asks, her voice still timid but filled with a touch of excitement. Yup. Your turn, Azalea encourages, and I can't help but smile at the way she's able to connect with the young girl. When we are nearly there, I glance in the mirror. Paige is passed out, leaning against Azalea, who has also fallen asleep. Are you okay? Kyson asks, his voice hushed so as not to disturb them. I nod, my grip on the steering wheel relaxing slightly as I allow myself to breathe. Yeah, I am. Just thinking about everything that's happened. Like what? Kyson prods gently, knowing that sometimes Damien needs encouragement to share his thoughts. About how we found Paige and how she's finally going to be reunited with her mother, I admit, my voice tinged with wonder. Kyson smiles and nods. As the miles stretch behind us, my thoughts turn inward. I imagine Tandy's face when she sees her daughter again, and I find myself filled with a sense of purpose stronger than ever before, while also wondering what it will be like to see Tandy heavily pregnant carrying my child, one day, but for now, we have 2 children who will keep us busy, which for now is enough for me. Almost there, I murmur, more to myself than anyone else. Finally, I is going numb, Kyson groans. I can't wait to see the look on her face, Azalea agrees with a yawn as she wakes, though her voice is filled with anticipation that matches mine. Epilogue. Azalea. 1 month later we salvaged whatever we could. The thought of rebuilding led to the inevitable truth: a place that had become but a distant memory would now be our home, where we will rebuild our lives and our kingdom. Days we spent sifting through what was left of the castle. I still feel a little guilty that I destroyed the place, yet as Kaisen told me, home is with our people, not in a physical place. However, sifting through the wreckage that we once called home, we managed to save a few precious things. How they survived is beyond me. A few of Kaisen's treasured books and Clarissa's favorite egg flip survived, too. Oh, and let's not forget that dreaded apron Liam loves so much, the one that smells as bad as it looks. And of all the things to survive, I hoped that wasn't one of them. But sure enough, it did, and his face had lit up like a kid on Christmas when he showed me. I have a funny feeling that his idea of a fabulous Christmas present involves blood and gore. And maybe more aprons. Along with the knickknacks we found was my father's sword, the other was the jewelry box my mother gave me when I was a baby. After moving here, Cedric and I started digging through old Landina and Azure archives, looking for more information on the Eclipsarian. We learned that it is a broken piece of the sword and was used to create Lycan bloodlines. The stone represented my mother's gifts, and the sword my father's. Brought together, they represented a sword of yin and yang, a constant balance, and created infinite power, yet in separate hands, they kept peace. One never overtakes the other, truth in the face of deceit and manipulation, love in the place of hate and war. Cedric told me my father searched for the talisman, but it was rumored to be nothing more than myth and legend, and my mother told him the only thing she was gifted was the shield. The Eclipsarian was another of my mother's secrets. My father believed that it was with my mother, and he was right. And all along, it sat in a jewelry box right beneath his nose. It showed how far my father's greed went that he would give her an ultimatum. She would either hand it over, or he would force her to marry him, believing he could gain the advantage of her power through my birth. It also showed how much she was willing to sacrifice to ensure it did not fall into his hands. She instead sacrificed herself just to keep the peace. But the most precious thing salvaged of all was our daughter's ashes. The bear somehow miraculously survived, so we still have that piece of her, which is now placed in the nursery we have set up, which was my old nursery as a baby. But we'll forever be grateful for the second chance we now have and the second chance granted to our people and those we thought we lost but weren't. Abby had Ganon and Tyson, I have Kaisen and this place. For once, we could all breathe and be happy and free. Finally, Abby and I have freedom, yet death isn't the freedom we seek anymore. Our freedom now has new meaning. It's living in the futures we know we have with our mates by our sides. Now, we would finally find peace when we have known none. So, as I look up at the massive iron gates of what was once the Landina kingdom, I know we are finally home. A fresh start. But the first thing to go will be the Landina crest, it will be replaced with the Valkyrie one. Home used to be some made-up sentiment embedded in us for so long that we forgot the meaning of it. Growing up for Abby and me, home meant pain, slavery, and then death. We truly believed that death was the only home we would know, the only way we would get freedom and have peace. But I've since learned home was never a place or a thing, but within all of us all along. Home is finding ourselves, our own meaning. Home is with those we love. So I know we will eventually find happiness here, in this place that has been desolate for so long. forgotten and haunted by the ghosts of a past I never knew was mine. Yet, in front of me is a future I am indeed excited to live. One beside my king and my family. Arms wrap around my waist as his hands slide up and over my stomach, a growing bump that holds our future and the future of our people. What's wrong? Kaisen asks as his hands gently trace my growing belly. Nothing. I just can't believe we are here of all places, I tell him as I watch the Landina guards race around and secure the perimeter, almost as if it is muscle memory and they had never left. And where is that, my queen? Home. With you, with us, I whisper, glancing over my shoulder at him. He brushes his nose against mine. Home is wherever you are, he murmurs, brushing his lips gently against mine briefly before the cars start pulling into the circular pebble driveway. This place reminds me of Marissa. I had hardly any memories of this place, but for some reason, it felt like she walked through those gates beside me. As if I can feel her, hear her in whispers traveling with the wind. So many sacrificed for the Landina name and the Azure name. For so long, the only woman I remember as my mother was villainized for her betrayal, yet everyone betrayed her, including her mate. She raised me, loved me, and paid the ultimate sacrifice of her life to ensure that one day, I could come back here and take the throne again. To some, she would always be remembered as the villain, but to me, she would always be my mother. Always be the reason I am standing here and righting the wrongs of my father, righting the wrongs that were bestowed on our people. The Landinas are dead. The Azure's dead, too. I may share their blood, but I no longer share their name. I am not my parents. I will do better and restore the royal names, yet I will never take theirs again. Those names instilled fear, ruined honor, and forged a path of destruction. Praised for the wrong reasons, loyalty given to them blindly, not earned. Those two names were blessed and cursed and are no longer part of the future I now chose or want. Staring up at the place we shall now call home, Abby moves toward me, bumping her shoulder against mine. I smile, looking over at her. Tyson is on her hip. Ready? She asks. I nod, and Kaisen unravels his arms around my waist and takes my hand, leading me toward the huge stone staircase. Everyone bustles around to get the place ready as what is left of our people move in. Reaching the top, Cedric is waiting by the door with Trey, the blessed sword that belonged to my father in his hand. I can't imagine what it must be like for them to be back here, yet they look almost relieved. Like this place, it never stopped being home for them. Cedric bows his head, and Trey offers me his hand. I place mine in his, only for him to turn me around to face the courtyard, to see hundreds of faces of what's left of mine and Kaisen's people. What's left of the fallen kingdom staring back at us. In unison, they all speak. We pledge our allegiance to Kaisen Keller Valkyrie, Emperor of Lycania and Valkyrie, and to Azalea Ivirose Valkyrie, Empress of Lycania and Valkyrie. As the true heirs and sovereigns of these realms, we commit our hearts and blades. We bleed for Valkyrie, we fight for Valkyrie, and if need be, we die for Valkyrie. We are the Valkyrie Guard. Our Empress and Emperor have risen. And so has the Valkyrie Guard. They bow their heads and fall to one knee in unison. As this kingdom rises, we shall rise with it. And if this kingdom falls, we too shall fall, they finish. I am in awe of their display and how quickly they would accept this new place as home. I turn to Cedric and retrieve my sword, my fingers wrapping around the hilt. The talisman is cool beneath my palm, and I pledge to my people, feeling it warm in my grip. I pledge my heart and my life to Lycania and to every soul that calls it home. I will bleed for them, stand in battle for them, and if fate demands, I will lay down my life for them. From this moment forward, I am Azalea Ivy-Rose Valkyrie, the true Empress of Lycania. This land, these people, they are my kingdom, and they are more than my life. I grasp the blade, its weight familiar and grounding. I slide my hand along its edge, the metal kissing my skin, a symbolic severance from the past and a fierce embrace of the future that lies before us. Yet, as my blood washes over the steel, it transforms. Gone are the crests and symbols of Landina. In its place, etched in blue and red carved into the replenished steel, lay the makings of a new one. A mixture of all the kingdoms that rose and fell, the kingdoms of Lycania. The steel glows and heats, branding and forging. And I can feel the power that lies within its steel, feel the rightfulness of it in my hand when hands move down my arms from behind, and the familiar sparks I love rush over me. Cedric takes my sword, and Kyson lifts my bleeding hand to his lips from behind me, the warmth of his chest seeping into me as he traces the slice with his tongue, healing the wounds left. And the scar it leaves matches the new crest now emblazoned in the steel. More than my life, always more, Kyson whispers, his breath warm against my ear, and I turn in his arms, my bump carrying our son brushing against him. My hands cup each side of his face. Forever yours, forever more than my life and beyond every forever, I whisper. The end. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.